For those of you who don't know me, I'm John's cousin Dennis, also known as John's landscaper, John's chauffeur, John's dog sitter, John's roommate, John's toilet scrubber, and also the favorite grandchild. As many of you know by now, John has a vision disorder. The disease causing his issues is retinitis pigmentosa, which is an eye disorder that causes progressive vision loss. Vision loss occurs as the light-sensing cells of the retina gradually deteriorate. For the rest of the speech, I'm going to call the disease RP, so I don't have to pronounce those two words again. I've lived with John for about 6 years of my life, and boy, has it been an adventure. RP usually becomes apparent in early childhood, and did it ever the day John decided to throw a punch at 6'1", 220-pound Jamal in the locker room of Academy Park High School. Jamal picked up John like a rag doll and split his head open on my locker. John was getting in trouble and not doing well in school, and this incident was a final straw in him moving into my bottom bunk. This began the endless nights of me whooping his ass in Madden. He does swear he beat me once, but I definitely don't remember that.
Throw the controller at the screen!
This also began an endless story John created on his own that we will laugh about forever. RP is not caused by injury, but is a genetic disease. So John cannot blame the broom line incident for his bad vision. During your senior year of high school football, it was a tradition for seniors to hit the sophomores with the end of the broom. The problem here was John decided to swing a broom that had a metal piece sticking out of it. Kobe. John swung the broom, slipped out of his hands, and blood instantly began rushing out of his hands. Sojek and I took off our shirts, wrapped them around John's hands, and rushed him to the hospital. When I had to call my dad from Tower Hospital phone, he immediately requested to speak with John. I can still remember my dad's words through the phone, and I quote, "Margisti, you better find a real comfortable room there, because you're not coming home tonight." We also know John cannot blame a 6-year-old woman who ran him over while he was sweeping in McDonald's park. What do you say, John? 50 feet she carried you? Didn't seem on front of it. Actually, that night we were on our way to Aunt Lisa's for dinner when my dad got another call from Tower Hospital and had me turn around and pick John up. At this point, it was like Tower Hospital had my dad's cell phone on speed dial. We won't mention when John jumped off the roof and broke his wrist running from school. God only knows who he was running from, but we got a phone call that night from the local police department. After the officer hung up the phone with my mom, my dad, or mom, John's first question to him was always, "Who answered the phone? Did it sound like a big guy?" One of the first signs of RP is loss of night vision, which totally explains the powder puff game incident. During John's senior year, he dressed as a cheerleader at the annual powder puff game, which was won by the juniors for the first time ever, coached by me. John never seemed able to pass up a few beers at this type of event, which is why he was arrested for peeing on a front lawn with my mom's leather shirt. Now it's you. My last and final story about John is by far my favorite, and it involves our bride. After a long night of drinking at Westchester bars, John and Mary Beth stumbled out of the bar in search of a taxi cab. The luck sign knows this story. It seemed so convenient that the car parked right out front was a cab, so John waved Mary Beth over and they hopped into the car. John yelled to the driver, "Take me to my apartment." The driver's response was, "Shut the hell up, you jackass, you're now arrested." What they thought was a taxi cab was really a police car. spent the night in separate cells where Mary Beth passed out. And John was lucky enough to share a cell with a friendly Mexican who he could speak Spanish with. When Mary Beth woke up, she yelled to John's cell, "Babe, are we in jail?" John waited a second, like he always does, used his humor to lighten the situation, and yelled back to her, "See!" I know John is legally blind, but Mary Beth, what the hell is yours? Now, I know I've told a lot of stories about John, but the point I'm trying to get across is that John's disease is very serious. As people with RP enter into adulthood, they become legally blind, but John never uses his disease as a crutch. As a matter of fact, it seems like John gets stronger as his life goes on. With the help of family and friends, he was able to get out of a bad situation, better educate himself, and succeed in life. He goes to his job 5 days a week, well, 4 days a week for and he owns a house with a dog. The dog they both wanted, but one refuses to pick up the shit. The other one can't see the shit. But really, John is like another brother to me. And I give him so much credit for overcoming obstacles in his life that half of us wouldn't be able to. I give my parents a ton of credit for helping John down a successful path, but I also need to give credit to two people that have been most important in John's journey. Our grandparents have always been there for him and our family every step of the way. Pop, we all wish you were here, and we all know you are shining down on us with a huge smile. And also, Mama, you are the rock of our family, and we all thank you for always putting us first, no matter what the situation. Now that brings me to my final point, which is family. Today is the day we welcome Mary Beth to our family with open arms. First, let me tell you a few things about this family. I can honestly say I would do anything for my family, and at the same time, I know each and every one of them will do the same for us. I can also say we will argue with each other until we are blue in the face, but the second someone else steps on one of our toes, we're there to watch their back. Now that you are a part of the family, you'll be treated with the same respect and know that we will always be here for you. John, I love you like a brother, and I hope for the rest of your life, I'm the first person you think to call when you need something. I'm truly honored to be your cousin, and your drive to overcome any obstacle, even with this disease trying to hold you down, helps me succeed in life. So now let's make a toast to John and Mary Beth. As we wish them many years of love and happiness, and always remember, taxi cabs are yellow. Cheers.